and gentlemen, go ahead and get your pens out and your paper because you're going to want to take notes. This is the first training of the day, the first kind of like big training of year 2014. Isn't that awesome? Awesome. Start off. Welcome. We're going to have Danielle Smith come. She is going to be, let's hear it for her. Danielle Smith started her premier business back in July of 2010 in Gainesville, Florida. In July of 2012, her family relocated to Birmingham, Alabama. She is currently a four-diamond designer and works her business alongside of being a mother of 3 children. Listen to this. Corey Bell's 4, Finley 2.5, and Tucker, who turns 1 tomorrow. Her and her husband, Dave, work this business together alongside of his full-time job as a pediatric ER doctor. Danielle has qualified for Designer Circle and Founders Club every year. She is a member of Jones' rookie team, completed all levels of the Crown Jewel program, and is a member of the 100 Home Show Club. Please welcome Danielle Smith.
John 15:16 states that you did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit. Did you know that God chose you for such a time as this in Premier? That He handpicked you for this job as a jewelry lady right here in Alabama, and that He has a plan for you. We each have a different story as to how or why we got into Premier, but there's one common thread in all of our stories. And that is that God placed us exactly where He needed us to be so that we could hear about the opportunity of Premier.
That's right.
Aren't you glad that He orchestrates life that way?
Amen.
And aren't you glad that somebody else was obedient to their calling and told you about the opportunity of Premier?
That's right.
I think about that often. I think about the gift that we have to give somebody in Premier. And it's our job to share that gift with them, or they might never know. I first heard about Premier at a jewelry show, and more than likely, you did too. About 90% of the people that I sponsor come from my home shows. They're past hostesses, customers, people who have become friends, and then eventually have turned into jewelry ladies. Home shows are the perfect place for us to meet women who could really use something like Premier. But yet again, it's our job to share that opportunity with them. At my home shows, I play the purse game. My goal is to keep it simple and to get the ladies having fun. My sponsoring talk comes near the end, so I've got to do a really good job to keep up the excitement. And I thought that the most beneficial thing that I could do for y'all today would be just to model my sponsoring activity to you. Would y'all like to see it? Okay. All right, I have a volunteer, one of my jewelers, Natalie. She's going to be ready to be my stand-in jewelry lady here in just a minute, so I'm going to ask her to be ready for that, and we're going to get started. All right, ladies, D stands for dream job. Now, I did not go to school to become a jewelry lady. I never in a million years thought that this would be my job. I went to school to become a teacher, and I loved my job as a teacher. But when we had kids, I could not fathom the idea of somebody else taking care of my kids all day while I took care of somebody else's kids. So we made the decision for me to stay home, but that left us short in our budget, a couple of $100 every single month. So I was a guest at a jewelry party. I heard the jewelry lady say that you could make 50% doing this job. And I thought, I could give that a try. So I want to give you a clear picture of what it looks like to do my job. And this is where I need my volunteer to come on up, my stand-in jewelry lady. Natalie Ramito is going to come on up. Now, Natalie here, she has 2 small children and she homeschools. So she is a super busy gal, right?
Yes.
Yes. And so she decides that she's going to take on this job as a jewelry lady, but she cannot work a lot, y'all. She's busy. She can only work very, very part-time. So, week 1 in Premier, she does have time for just one simple jewelry show. And what night of the week would you like to do that? Tuesday night. All right. So Natalie's going to go out on a Tuesday night, and she is going to meet new friends, and she's going to eat free snacks, and she's going to make 50%. So she has an average $400 show. How much money would she make, y'all, if she had an average $400 show? $200 right there and then. Cash, credit cards, checks, everything is going to go to Natalie, so she doesn't have to wait on a paycheck. Isn't that great? That's right. Week 2 in Premier, she does have time for just one more jewelry show. And what night of the week would you like to work? Saturday. Well, this time it's an above average show. It's a $600 show. How much money did Natalie make? $300. Do y'all know that that's about $100 an hour? I arrived to someone's home about 30 minutes ahead of time to set up my jewelry and help my hostess get set up. I spend about 2 hours with the ladies, and then I spend about 20 to 30 minutes wrapping up and letting my hostess know how much free jewelry she has. Do you know that I would have to teach for 3 days for that kind of money? This really is my dream job. All right, week 3 in Premier, Natalie is super swamped. She's actually got a homeschool convention that she's got to go to. She doesn't have time for a jewelry show, and that's okay because she runs her own business with no minimums and no quotas. So she packs on up for her homeschool convention. All of the jewelry that you see here, it all belongs to her. So she puts on her most favorite pieces and heads on out of town, and while she's there, she runs into an old friend. And that old friend says, Natalie, oh, it's so good to see you. I love all of the jewelry that you are wearing. Where did you get that? And Natalie says, oh, girl, it's Premier. I just started selling Premier. And they have a little conversation about her new venture as a jewelry lady. At the end of that conversation, her friend says, well, girl, I want to support you in your new business. Can I order some jewelry? And she says, sure. $100 worth of jewelry is sold, and Natalie makes how much money? $50. Was she trying to make money? No, she was living her day-to-day life. All right, week 4 in Premier, Natalie does have time for just one more simple jewelry show. And what day of the week would you like to do that? Thursday. Well, this Thursday, the hostess decided that she did not want to clean her house, and she did not want to make any snacks, and she decided she would rather go sit at Starbucks. And so she asked Natalie if that would be okay, and Natalie said, sure, I'm not tied to a living room. I can absolutely do your show at Starbucks. So she grabs a few friends, and they head on over to Starbucks. It's a $200 show, and Natalie makes how much money? $100, which is way more than minimum wage if you were to go have to get a part-time job. So at the end of 1 month in Premier, Natalie has done 3 jewelry shows, had one very profitable homeschool convention, and how much money did you make?
$650.
$650 for a part-time job. Oh my. And what would you do with that?
Feed my kids.
Feed her kids. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Y'all give her a big round of applause. Okay, ladies. Now, as Natalie is heading on back to her seat, I want the rest of my guests at my jewelry show to take out their guest survey, okay? And I don't want you to start at the top. I want you all to go down to question number 2. Question number 2 states, I am curious about the jewelry business. Notice it doesn't say, oh, I want to sign up and be the jewelry lady. I know that you did not come here tonight to take on a new job, but if that one act play piqued your interest in just the least little bit, you owe it to yourself to grab some more information. There is a scale of 1 to 10, and you can let me know right there. A 1 means, I've got all the information that I need to know. Thank you very much. I don't need any more. A 10 is, I'm just kind of curious, and I might like to know some more. A 5 is cheating. You have to have an opinion. So circle above a 5 or below a 5 to let me know. If you're somewhere above a 5, I would just like to send you home with a little packet of information. It comes with a no stalker guarantee. It will not call you every day. It won't show up at your home. It doesn't need your Social Security. It is just info. And more than anything, I would love to go over this information with you at Starbucks, to grab some coffee, or somewhere to grab a Coke or some chips and salsa so that I can give you a little bit more info. Okay? So y'all let me know on that survey, and then you can put it away, and we'll move on to our last letter of the purse game. Did y'all enjoy that? Yeah! The very last letter of my purse game is S for survey and specials. And that's where I asked them to pull their gift survey out again. We finished going over it all together. I give 3 tickets to the first person who has a fully completed and legible survey, and then 1 ticket to every person as they pass them in. The first thing that I want to do is I want to pick up these surveys and I want to look right away at question number 2, because I want to know who is interested in what I do. And I'm going to rank my surveys in order from hot numbers to low numbers. And then I'm going to take that stack after I've looked at them all, and I'm going to set them at my checkout station. It's so important to have a checkout station that's a little bit farther away from the hustle and bustle of the crowd so that you can sit down with these people and you can go over it with them. It might look something like this. Natalie would bring her order form up to me and tell me she's ready to check out. The first thing I would do would pull Natalie's gift survey so I can serve her better. And I'm going to say, Natalie, I see on your survey that you've circled a 6 about being just a little bit curious about Premier. So I want to send you home with this information, and I want to know, would you be interested in grabbing some coffee with me to hear a little bit more about what I do? And she says, well, sure, that sounds great. I could do that. So I'm going to open my calendar right away, and I'm going to say, okay, today is Saturday, so tomorrow I'm free on Sunday afternoon. Are you free? And she says, no, I'm busy tomorrow afternoon. I said, that's okay. I'll go to the very next day. Monday morning, I'm free on Monday, are you? And she says, well, yeah, I could meet you on Monday morning around 9 a.m. I say, great. I'm going to open up my calendar right away, and I'm going to write her name down on Monday morning at 9 a.m. at Starbucks with her phone number. I am then going to call her the very next day on Sunday afternoon and thank her for coming to my jewelry show and tell her that I'm excited to see her the very next day, okay? Then on Monday morning when I show up at my OP, the first thing I want to do is get to know her a little bit better. I want to know about her family life. I want to know what piqued her interest in Premier so that I can tailor my OP to fit her needs. After I get to know her, I sit down and all I do is go over this marketing brochure. It has all the information that you need. I spend a lot of time right here talking about Joan and Andy and Tim and why they started Premier. I want my prospects to know that Premier is different, that it's not like every other home-based business out there, that we are here to honor God and to serve people, and that is truly what we're here for. I want them to know that. I want them to know the heart of Premier. The next place I stop and spend a little bit more time on is the cost. Because this is where you're probably going to lose a lot of people. They're going to say, oh, well, I thought it was $99 to sign up and get all the free stuff. What in the world? It's $400? And I want them to know all of the services that Premier provides. Because they provide us with some amazing things, you guys, and you've got to tell your prospects about that, okay? I wrap up with the very back of the marketing plan, which talks about the philosophy, purpose, and plan of Premier. And what is it? To honor God and to serve people. I start with that, and I close with that. I then want to ask her if she's got any questions. What fears does she have about starting this business? What excites her about starting this business? If she's married, I want to know what her husband's going to say. Because she's going to go home and he's going to ask her a ton of questions, and I want to answer those before she gets there so that I can equip her for success. I then tell her that I'm going to follow up in the next day or so just to check in, answer her questions, and see if I can help her come to a decision. During that follow-up phone call, she might know right away. She might say, yes, I'm so ready to do Premier, and I'm going to then schedule her training show. She might say, I'm not so sure. I need to pray about it. There's a whole group of girls over there on my left that needed to pray about it for a lot of months, and they are here today, and I'm so thankful. So if somebody says that they aren't sure yet that they need to pray about it, guess what? You stand and you pray for them too, and you become their friend. Not because you want them to do Premier, but because you care about them, and you want them to see that. They will watch you do Premier, and they will eventually join in the long haul. All right, all of that to say that the question to ask yourself at the end of the day is this: am I being obedient to the calling that Christ has placed on my life? Because you see, I told you at the beginning that God placed you in Premier for such a time as this, and you've got to use it. Do you guys know that song about joy being down, deep, deep down in your heart? I won't sing it to you today, but I sing it to my kids often because I want them to know and believe in where their joy comes from. That's right. Because I know that out of belief comes action. So do you really, really believe in Premier? Has it changed your life in any way? And do you believe that it can change the life of someone else? Because if you do, then you have got to go and tell people about it. When we truly believe in Premier, And when that belief is down, so far down, deep in our heart, people will see something different about us. And they will want to know what it is. And that is when we have the opportunity to tell them that God has used Premier to change us in so many ways and that He can do the same for them. You see, I think that sharing Premier, goes right along with sharing the gospel.
That's right.
Jesus came and He said to go make disciples, which means He said to go and tell people about Him. And if we don't go and tell people about Jesus, they might never know Him.
Amen.
They might hear about Him here and there. They might even attend church and still miss out on the opportunity to really know and love Jesus.
That's right.
And that is the same thing for Premier. People might hear about Premier here and there. They might even attend a home show and still miss out on the opportunity to really understand and know what Premier is all about. So, I have a sense of urgency to get out there and to tell women about the awesome opportunity that we have in Premier to help with our finances, to stay home with our babies, to pay off debt, to plan for college, to build genuine friendships, to be a life impacted for the kingdom, and the list goes on.
That's right.
What joy there is in changing somebody's life that way. So I am praying for you today that God would speak to you, that the joy of Premier would be so far down, deep, deep down in your heart that you can't not tell people about it. Happy sponsoring.